And Xavier, which mic are you going to talk into?
I think I'll use this one.
All right. Are you ready for the season finale?
No, I'm not. Let's do it.
All right. Episode 10 coming down in 3, 2, 1. Hi, and welcome to episode number 10 of Conversations with Myself.
A journey of self-discovery.
I'm Brent, and I'm joined by the 12-year-old version of myself, minus the mullet. This is Xavier. Say hi, Xavier.
Hi, Xavier.
And if you're watching on the webcast, we're bringing out all the big guns for this time. We have special guest stars because we're calling this our Season 1 season finale. So if you're watching on YouTube, say hello to Xavier's mom, my wife, Mandy, making her webcast debut. Hi, Mandy. How does it feel to be on the podcast?
I feel honored and awkward at the same time.
Why do you feel awkward?
I don't know. I've just never done a podcast before.
You just talk. We just talk. And we just have conversations with ourselves.
Yes.
So we're calling this our season finale. We're going to come back with more episodes next year. But since the holidays are coming up and things are going to get busy, I thought we'd go ahead and kind of finish out the year with one more episode. And we've got kind of a special reason for doing this episode because a big event coming up on Thursday. What's happening Thursday, Xavier?
Well, we'll have my final day of school, a midterm. And I could have sworn there's one other thing. What was that thing? Oh, yeah, it's my birthday.
Your birthday. So how old are you going to be?
I'm going to be a 13-year-old.
You are going to be 13 years old. So in honor of Xavier's birthday, we're doing this very special episode today. Also, another guest star, Leroy, making his podcast debut. There's Leroy, if you're watching on the webcast. He doesn't really talk, so he may howl after a while. There's Leroy. So we kind of came into this episode. Usually, Xavier and I pick a topic, and then we kind of come up with questions for each other based on that topic. But today, we didn't tell you what the topic was going to be, right?
No, you did not. I am completely blind.
You're coming in, have no idea what's going on. All right, so let me give you a little backstory about what we're talking about today. Once we started doing this podcast, I thought it's like one of those serendipitous things. It's one of those God things where I thought, how am I going to, because it's kind of hard for me to start this, but it's one of those things where I tried to figure out a way that I wanted to share something with you. And I was like, how am I going to do this? And it's just one of those things that the opportunity kind of slapped me in the face with this podcast. And I initially set out to do it. I talked to your mom about it back in September, but we just got too busy. And we were going to do this episode back in September before we went to see Jason Isbell, but it didn't work out. And then I started to think, well, let's do it for around your birthday. It's kind of a perfect timing kind of thing. So I'll set it up for you a little bit. So I'll kind of tell the story. I got a bunch of stuff. We may run a little bit long today, and that's all right. So I'll kind of set up the story. And as I go along, Mandy, just, chime in with some other things that I may have forgotten.
Okay.
Okay? I have a script because I didn't want to forget anything. So about 2 or 3 weeks before you were born, back in 2006, I sent out an email and a text to all of our family and friends, and I asked them, give me one song that you want Xavier to hear. It could be their favorite song, a song that inspired them, or just something that they wanted to share with you. I told them, I said, give me the artist, give me the song. You don't have to give me the actual audio. Just give me the song title, and I'll compile it. And the reason why I did this, I'm going to try my best not to break down this week because it's quite possible. The reason I did this is, we've talked about this on the podcast, how much I love music, right? Mm-hmm. So I was hoping that by doing this, you'd be exposed to different types of music. And then, more importantly, each song would help you establish a lifelong bond with the person who decided to pick out that song for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So over the next couple of weeks, family and friends, they sent the songs in, and about 4 or 5 days before you were born, I took all those songs and I compiled it into one mix CD, and we called it XJH. I was calling you XJH before you were born. I called it XJH, Music is Love in Search of Words. And the cool thing is, if you know me and music, I had all these songs in front of me, and if you like to do mixtapes or mix CDs or playlists, it was kind of like working a puzzle. I'm like, all right, how am I going to make all these songs flow so that it makes sense? And I was able to, I think, kind of put the track list together so it's almost like a journey through life. And once you play it, you'll kind of understand it. It'll make more sense to you. So, like I said, I was trying to figure out, this is something that I did 13 years ago. And I've been kind of pondering, how am I going to present this to Xavier? What age am I going to give this to Xavier? And when we started doing this podcast, I thought this is a perfect opportunity because we can do it. We've got the audio for it. We've got the video for it. So we can go back and we can see it in however many years. And you can, when you hear us talk today, you can listen to us and maybe it'll make more sense as you get older, or you can revisit it at another time. So this is kind of a cool thing. Yeah. This is a project that is 13 years in the making. Do you remember do you have any recollections of when I brought this to you, Mandy?
Oh yeah, I thought it was a great idea, and I thought it was a great idea. I thought that it was you were, when I was pregnant, you were more thinking about the future, where I was just thinking about December 19th having the baby. And so I thought that was cool that was on your mind, that the future was on your mind, that you were thinking about, we were actually having a son, where I was just trying not to throw up.
Yeah, you were kind of preoccupied. You had a lot of sickness, so you probably didn't have a lot of time to think about. You were just thinking about trying not to throw up and pee yourself. Sorry, dear.
Yeah. Well, truth. It's the truth. So the truth is funny. But yeah, so I thought it was a really wonderful idea because you do love music so much. And I actually had no idea. I knew I was going to love Xavier, but I had no idea how much I was going to love Xavier. So it just makes it even cooler that you had the foresight to think to do something like that.
Well, and like I told Xavier, I've told him on the podcast several times, just because music's my thing and it's something that I like, I don't expect you to like it, but it's part of something that I love, and I wanted to share my love of music with you and then bring everyone else in to help them share their love of music and songs. So, you can, even if music's not something that you really are passionate about, you still have this that you can share with each and every person.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to kind of run down the track list for you of all the songs that are on there. And then I wanted your mom and me to give you the reasons why we picked the songs we picked. Okay? Oh, sorry. It's going to be a tough one today, I think. So because you were your mom and dad, mom got to pick one, I got to pick one, and then collectively as your parents, we got to pick one. So we cheated. We actually got to put 3 songs on the mix CD.
I think we deserved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too.
The cool thing for me about recording today is that, and this is another one of those serendipitous God things. I mixed the final CD. I mastered it December 15th, 2006. Tomorrow is December 15th, 2019. So that's kind of cool for me. It's like 13 years worth of stuff, You're gonna have to talk when I can't talk, man.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just in the moment. I love it.
So, we're gonna share our reasons for why we picked the songs. I've got some. Trying to think of. I've got a whole bunch of notes. I'm sorry.
I think when you start getting verklempt, think about In the Ghetto.
No, but that's it's a part of the process. We'll explain that in a minute. All right, so I had a whole bunch of stuff. I'm a sentimentalist. I save things.
He does, but when I save things, I'm a hoarder. But when he saves things, he's
because I save them for a reason. There's a reason why I save this stuff, because I knew I had the foresight I was going to use it someday. All right. So here's the original email. I want to read you the email that I sent out. Again, you may have to chime in here because I don't know if I get through it. This is the original email that I sent out to family and friends back in 2006. It says, "Hey guys, I decided to compile a mix CD for Xavier Jack. Basically, I want everyone to email me one song suggestion. Just think of a song you really like, a band, singer that you want them to explore, a song with a great message. Once everyone has sent me their suggestions, I'll put it together. In addition to saving a copy for Xavier for when he's older, and that day is today, I'll give everyone else a copy. So I hope that you'll want to participate in my project, and I look forward to hearing from you soon." So that was the original email. And I got tons of really cool responses, and I printed out some of the responses, and I'm going to read some of those in a minute.
Oh gosh, I didn't know you were doing that.
Well, I didn't print out everybody's response because I kept quite a few of them, but I must have misplaced some, or people told me verbally, and I didn't have it that way. So it's really what I want you to do is after you look at the CD, I want you to go to those people. It doesn't have to be today, tomorrow, or next week, but at some point go to those people and say, hey, why did you pick out that song? What made you choose this, that, or other thing? And I think that'll start a really cool conversation between you and that other person that's on the CD, because they really put a lot of thought into this, and it really shows you. It's tough. Sorry. It really
you were very loved.
Yes.
You were loved before you were born. Very much.
That's what I was trying to get across.
Very loved.
I have some drinks down there, dear.
Which one of the three would you like?
I'm gonna go with Dr. Pepper. I think I need some caffeine. We switched spots before we started today. All
This
right.
video is not sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
I don't have any cool, refreshing Mountain Dew today. I should have. All right. So here's the email that I sent out to family and friends when I finished the CD. Again, I'll try to get through this without freaking out. And then I'll give you the final track list, and I'll tell you who contributed each song, okay? It says, hey, guys, I just finished mastering the track list for Xavier's mix CD. I want to thank everyone who contributed. You all put so much time and thought into your submissions. I tried to organize this CD as a journey through life, from birth to maturity. Ugh. So when you're listening, try to imagine someone growing up and experiencing different aspects of life. I intended for this CD to be just one CD, but with so many folks suggesting great songs, I had to expand it to a second disc. I'll hand deliver it to you, or I'll mail it to you in the next couple of weeks. I can't read that last line.
And thank you again for participating in this project. I hope he's able to learn more about the music you suggested and form a lifelong bond with each of you.
So that's what went out to everyone. And I'm not going to read it because this is just for you. But there's some...
There's a letter that Brent wrote, that Daddy wrote to you.
And it's
before
dated
you were born.
December 15th, 2006, tomorrow. You may not, I picked the dumbest font. It's cursive and you can hardly read it. So if you can't read it, I'll decipher it for you. But that's for you to read at some point. We're going to share a lot of stuff with the CD today, but I wanted to keep that for him and for the family members that had it. It's for them. But here's the track list, and here's everyone who picked it out. So the very first song on disc number 1, it's one of my favorites, John Lennon, and you know who John Lennon, what band he was in, right?
I do, but why don't you tell
It's one of 3.
Pearl Jam?
No, the other one.
The
Beatles,
like,
yes.
First try.
See, music's not going to be his thing. All right, so
When was it your thing?
Huh?
What age was it your thing?
Well, that's what I started thinking about. I when I was like 5th, 6th grade, that's when I really started to get into it. And then it really ramped up around 12, 13, 14. So that's why I thought it was another cool reason to do it when you're turning 13. Yeah. And I didn't know what age I was going to do this at, 18, 16, but I thought you're going from your childhood years into your teenage years, and I thought this is a nice transitional period. All right, I'll start over. So disc 1, Beautiful Boy by John Lennon. My dad, Grandpa Henson, picked that one out. My Aunt Dolores, your great Aunt Dolores, she picked out In the Ghetto by Elvis Presley. I think that's, if you listen to the lyrics of that song, it transitions really well with the theme that I had of the disc. Graham and Gramp, my grandparents, they picked Welcome to My World. I picked the Eddie Arnold version. Papa, look, before I just put Grandpa Morris because that was
we didn't know it was Papa.
We didn't know it was Papa yet.
You were calling Papa.
He picked You Are My Sunshine by Gene Autry. Aunt Jess, which is totally perfect, picked The Rainbow Connection, Kermit the Frog. Uncle Jason picked out, this is you'll like this song when you hear it. It's a really cool, it tells a cool story. It's Kenny Rogers, The Greatest. That's a really cool song. Uncle Jim Fisher, Jim and Marianne from Michigan, he picked out "We're Gonna Be Friends" by the White Stripes, which was so cool because Xavier became a huge fan of the movie Wonder. And help me.
That song is in the movie.
Yeah. Closer to
I'm sorry, that song is in the movie.
Yeah. So I just think that's really kind of cool. Mimi and Pat picked out, which this is perfect. If you know Mimi, her favorite song, "My Girl" by the Temptations, Motown.
She really wanted a girl. I'm just kidding.
Grandma, your mom's grandma, she picked "Ivory Palaces," and I picked out Valerie Ann Niece. I think that's the version that she wanted me to get. And then Nanny is kind of like Papa. Before we call her Nanny, is Grandma Morris. She picked Whitney Houston, "You Light Up My Life." And funny thing about Nanny is I had to like badger her to get a song. I was like, "Ann, I need a song." And we always had like this running joke of the song Norman. And she's like,
because we had a cat named Norman, and she would sing.
There's some song named Norman that she knew, and I never knew what she was talking about.
Nobody ever knew what the song was, but she'd always sing it, Norman.
So I said, "Ann, I need a song," and she said, "Use Norman." I'm like, "No, Ann, I need a song." And so after pestering her continually, she came up with Whitney Houston, "You Light Up My Life." And then
that was also because I gave her a Whitney Houston. When cassette singles were a thing, there was a Whitney Houston and is it CeCe Winans?
Yeah.
Cassette single that I'd given her.
Was it that song?
No, I've gone blank at the name of the song, but I can see the little cardboard cover of it. I just can't. It was about loving her so much.
Well, I'm glad you were able to, because I knew that the Whitney Houston version, because I think Debbie Boone does the original,
Mm-hmm.
But she specifically wanted me to do the Whitney Houston version. So
that's
I'm glad
why.
you were able to.
Yeah.
And then to end out the first CD, it's Uncle Jack and Aunt Carol, Uncle Jason's mom and dad. They picked out "Mama Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys" by Waylon and Willie. And the cool thing about this CD is that there's so many genres of music. There's country, there's rock and roll, there's Motown. I mean, it just covers the gamut, and that's why I'm so proud of this.
Kermit.
Yeah, there's Kermit, there's Muppets. There's so many different aspects of the CD. You're able to get a diverse song set. So I'm excited for you to hear it.
I am too.
I think you'll enjoy it. All right, so on disc 2, so back in 2006, we still listened to CDs all the time. So I'll put this on a playlist for you because CD players are becoming obsolete. YouTube was only a year old in 2006.
Wow.
So when I made this project, the CD in 2006, I never would have guessed that we'd be doing a podcast and a webcast on YouTube. So
To reveal it to you.
yeah. So on disc number 2, we start up with Gammy, my mom. She picked a song called "Cats in the Cradle" by Harry Chapin, and I both love and hate this song. And I'll tell you why I hate it, is because every time Xavier asks me to do something, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm too tired to do that," I hear "Cats in the Cradle." And you'll understand when you hear the song, because the song, it's about a dad saying, "I don't have time right now," and then
The kid doesn't have time at the end of the song.
and the dad has nothing but time. So every time that "Cats in the Cradle" song, it gets me every time. So I'm glad she included that. We get to my first song, which was done by the band The Drive-By Truckers, which, do you remember who I told you who's in that band? It's all right if you don't. Jason Isbell started out in The Drive-By Truckers before he went solo. Yeah. So he did the song "Outfits," and I'll go into detail about why I picked that song in a minute. We're just going over the track list now. Collectively, we come to Mom and Dad's pick. Do you want to reveal what that pick was? And I'll turn. There's your cheat sheet. You're at number.
I know what it is.
Okay.
"Change" by Blind Melon.
Yeah. So I got to work in Jason Isbell, Blind Melon, and then at number 4 on disc 2, it's your mom's choice, and I got to work in an extra favorite band.
That's right. Pearl Jam, present tense.
Yeah, I think, and we'll talk about this more, but I think this is a perfect choice. It's hard for me to pick out my favorite Pearl Jam song. And I'm kind of glad I didn't pick a Pearl Jam song because I would have felt like I slighted other ones.
Yeah.
But I think that was a good one to pick. Mary Ann picked out an awesome song. I'm so glad that she got this song. It's the Ben Harper, Jack Johnson version of My Own Two Hands. That song gets me, man.
And that's so Marianne too. Like that's just Marianne.
I love you, when you hear these songs, you'll understand. Your Aunt Brandy picked out John Mayer, Waiting on the World to Change. Aunt Pooh sent through James Taylor, You've Got a Friend. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute. From your Uncle Colby, Beck, Hot Wax. And I've got some emails from some of these folks that will go into detail. Uncle Jody picked out Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. If you know Uncle Jody, like when I think of Uncle Jody, I think of Bruce Springsteen. That's what this project is all about.
Yeah.
When I think of Jody, I think of Bruce. So when you think of Jody, I want you to think of Born to Run. Micah is a good family friend. We were much more close when you were about to be born. We've not been as close lately.
Which we need to fix.
But I sent this out to family and friends, and he picked out a song called Astral Weeks by Van Morrison, which I'd not heard before, and it's gone on to become one of my favorite songs. He has a great email that I want to read you. I won't be able to get through that. I'll be a bubbling mess by the time I finish that email. And then the very last song on disc number 2, I thought it was appropriate. Uncle Germ.
It is very appropriate.
Yeah. Yellow Ledbetter.
By Pearl Jam.
That's how you know it's time to go home. So my plan at some point is I want to get some notes today so I kind of stay on track and not be a bumbling mess, which is kind of a afterthought now. I want to put all this stuff together so you'll have it kind of in a scrapbook form, but I want to have these notes in front of me. So before your mom and I get into our explanations, I don't know how I'm going to make it through those explanations at this point. I want to read you a couple of the messages that I got from email. This came in Tuesday, December 5th, 2006 from Jim. He said he's going to pick out We're Going to Be Friends, White Stripes. He said he has to listen to the Stripes, right? I thought about Jack Johnson, his version of We're Going to Be Friends, but I'm pretty sure Mary Ann will suggest another Jack Johnson song, which she did. Excuse me. If she doesn't, I'd also suggest My Own Two Hands by Jack Johnson from his sing-alongs. And a good message that actually kind of reminds me.
A good message that kind of reminds me of Xavier's papa.
This one is from Mary Ann. It comes on December 6th of 2006, sorry. She said, Brent, what a good idea. I had such a hard time picking out one song. With My Own Two Hands by Jack Johnson and Ben Harper, the one that Jim suggested is a really great one. I also really love Heaven by Live, and my all-time favorite song is Imagine by John Lennon. I look forward to getting a copy of this CD.
Yeah.
So here's one from your Uncle Colby. Came in on December 5th, 2006. Your Uncle Colby has a great explanation for the song that he picked. He put a lot of thought into this, and I really appreciate what he did because it's a really great explanation. He picked out Beck, Hot Wax. He said, what a hard question to pick out my favorite song. There are so many different songs that come to mind. I think the one that best combines everything I listen to would be something that has a little rap in it, rock, kind of on the indie side, and blues. Have it make no sense at all, and it's fun to listen to. And if you put all those things together, you've got the perfect song, which is Beck, Hot Wax. You'll find it on his Odelay album, second track. He said there's no real message there, but that's kind of the point of it. Not all music has to make sense. Guess that's what I'd like to share with the X-Man. I was really appreciative of how detailed he was in his answer. And I'll have all these for you, Xavier. Aunt Pooh. I actually sent this. I found this yesterday, and I texted it to April this morning. because I wanted her to have it. This was back when she still had her maiden name. This is before she was before
She
her and
wasn't
Uncle Jim.
Nancy
Yeah.
yet.
So this is Monday, December 11, 2006. It says the one I picked is James Taylor. You've Got a Friend. James Taylor is one of my all-time favorite artists. The song talks about people being there for each other, no matter what, and how important friendships and relationships are. I hope Xavier would love to know more about James Taylor in the future.
And it's funny that Aunt Pooh just left the house, and Xavier is like a head taller than her.
Yeah, he's way taller than Aunt Pooh now. She says,
Do you want me to read the rest of it?
yeah, you can finish that up.
I can't wait to hear the CD of everybody's songs. This was a great idea. I'm really excited for you both and can't wait to see Xavier. I brought him back a small souvenir from New York. See you real soon. Love you guys.
All right. Since I've been talking a lot, I know I won't make it through this. This is a great note that Micah sent. Will you please read this? Because I know I won't be able to make it through. Just listen to the reason why he picked this song.
The day is fast approaching, Papa. I can only imagine how excited you and Mandy are right now. Both of you are going to, in the mighty words of
Beldar, Coneheads.
Beldar, make excellent parental units. I've been thinking about what song I want Xavier to hear, and I keep coming back to one song that fits the criteria. The criteria being a song that is not only pertinent to this occasion, but also could be relevant to every phase that Xavier goes through. A song that can be malleable and personal. At first, I really wanted to pick a Dylan or Lennon song, but I just couldn't pick one song from either one that seemed appropriate for the occasion. Who knows? By the time Xavier reaches junior high or high school, they will probably be teaching Dylan in his English class.
You're not teaching Bob Dylan yet, are they?
No.
I didn't think so.
I also figured that the Beatles and Lennon will continue to be omnipresent, and I know you'll be spinning Drive-By Truckers and Pearl Jam, amongst other greats. So after all that ranting, that leaves my choice,
Astro Weeks. Yeah.
Sorry.
Continue to the next page.
By Van Morrison. It's a song that to me represents the mystic and the beauty of the unknown, amongst other things. Maybe Xavier will be curious after listening to the song and want to find out who Huddy Ledbetter is, and that will lead him to Woody Guthrie, then to Pete Seeger, then to Robert Zimmerman, and so on.
That's Bob Dylan, by the way, Robert Zimmerman.
Or maybe you won't care for it at all. That's what makes children and subsequent generations so exciting. You never can know for sure what they'll latch onto and accept, or the paths they will take. That's a great part of what makes life worth living, discovering the unexpected and being surprised. Well, give my best to Mandy, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys soon. Micah.
Yeah, I couldn't have read that. That was a well thought out response, and he's right. You don't know what future generations are going to latch onto. As you can see, I get emotional about music. For some reason, I'm just tied to it. But you're passionate about other things. Your mom's passionate about certain things, so you never know what people are going to latch onto. But what we're showing you here is people took time before you even set foot on this earth to be a part of your life, and to show you how loved you are and how blessed you are to have that many people who loved you in your life. So we love you, and we wanted to share this with you. I'm sorry, I knew this was going to be hard as something that you worked on 13 years ago, and it's finally coming to where I can sit down and tell you about it. And like I say about a lot of things on this podcast, you may not get it today. You may hear us talking about this stuff, and it's just, it's kind of cool. But you can go back and watch these videos. Like, I was watching a video from 4 years ago of Xavier, and I don't know that kid. He's totally different than who you are today. And so it's really neat. These YouTube videos and this podcast, it's like an audio and a visual scrapbook for us.
It is.
And so while we wanted to share this with everyone, and especially the family members who contributed, this is more like a time capsule for us, I think, which is kind of cool.
I love it. I love going back and looking at those videos of you, especially the one with you singing Phineas and Ferb Bow Chicka Bow Wow.
Yeah, I think that's what Facebook's good for. The memory section is it's like a scrapbook for us. So this is your CD. I will put it on a playlist so you can have it. The funny thing about this CD is that our original copy, I lost. I don't know what happened to it. We actually listened to this CD on the way to the hospital on the morning that you were born. We were listening to it all the time when you were born, and then it got lost in the van some way. So we were actually cleaning out Graham and Graham's house a couple years ago after Grant passed, and I came across Graham's copy, and so I snatched it, I grabbed it, I put it in the safe, and it'll go back in the safe after today. I just want to make sure that you have it, but I'll put it on playlist for you. So we don't have my original one that I made, but this is one of the originals that I made for the family.
But we listened to, it probably wouldn't work anymore. We listened to it so much.
Yeah. Oh, another thing that I wanted to tell you, and I can't remember, and I know I didn't tell you this before, but I picked out the Jason Isbell song, Drive-By Trucker song outfit, and 2 days before you were born, I got on MySpace. MySpace.
MySpace?
Exactly. It's kind of like Facebook, but not. So I got on MySpace and I found Jason Isbell's account. I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% it was his real account. It might not have been.
Well, it probably was because he wasn't really Jason Isbell yet.
I think it was. And I'll tell you why I think it was. So I sent Jason a message and I told him about this project and I told him that I picked his song for you. And he actually emailed me back, messaged me back on MySpace right before you were born, and like in his own Jason Isbell way. That's why I kind of thought it was him. Mm-hmm. He just said, "I'm glad this song means something to you, and you want to share it with your son. Happy holidays." And it was a really short response, but it was really appreciative. So I thought that was kind of cool. So
and the guitar pick.
Yeah,
I know you've talked about the guitar pick, but still,
Jason Isbell is kind of like intertwined in your life along with Pearl Jam. It's Pearl Jam was your first concert. It's unofficially your first concert.
Yes.
All right, so I'll let you go first.
Okay.
You can do what I thought we'd do. We can do our individual songs, and then for our collective song, if you want to give your reason, I give my reason, or whatever, however you want to do it.
You are so much better at expressing your feelings than I am. I just
Irony.
hug people. I just hug people and stuff. But so I think it's funny. I chose Present Tense by Pearl Jam because Brent drugged me to so many Pearl Jam shows and I enjoyed them.
I didn't drag you. Our first concert, Jared Wilson got me tickets for my birthday. Jared Wilson got me tickets to Pearl Jam for my birthday, and then Mandy went out and bought her own separate ticket to go to Pearl Jam with us.
With permission from Brent.
You need my permission. I was like, yeah, sure, it's fine by me.
I drove.
You did, yeah.
And Jared was mad the whole time because he did not want me to be there. But that's okay. We still love you, Jared. So Present Tense by Pearl Jam. I just always thought, Brent is who introduced me to music because my mom we didn't listen to music growing up or anything like that. My mom always would say, you can listen to the radio in the car when you're old enough to drive. And so I was like, okay, we'll just talk.
That's why.
Yeah, exactly. So, excuse me. Sorry. You came out of my body.
I took a turn.
Yeah. So I just really like the lyrics of Present Tense, and it's funny because I've always loved God, but I haven't always had a real relationship with Jesus. And now this song makes so much more sense to me. It is basically talking about the chorus is, you can spend your time alone redigesting past regrets, or you can come to terms and realize you're the only one who can't forgive yourself. It makes so much sense to live in the present tense. And I just thought that was that was almost like a good way to live, to not just live in regret and to, always feel guilty about things that you've done in the past when you've made mistakes. And Mom used to always tell me to bloom where you're planted, which has become a big part of my life now. And I feel like that's kind of what the message is also saying, to just be happy where you're at in life and to thrive there. And but now that I love Jesus and have a very close relationship with Jesus, I feel like it's also saying, I've spent way too much time not forgiving myself for things that God has already forgiven me for. And that can get really messy. And I think it's important for you to understand that because you have accepted Jesus as your Savior, that you should always know that there's nothing that you can do that can separate you from His love. There's nothing that you can do that can separate you from my love and your dad's love. And I think that's important for you to remember because you're going to be 13 and things are just, not trying to be Debbie Downer, but things are going to get harder and life is going to be difficult at times. And I think it's important to remember that you're going to make mistakes. Like you're going to mess up and that's okay because that's part of life. But the important thing is that we want you to know that we're not going anywhere. Like we've told you this so many times, like, we're a team. Like the three of us.
We've always got your back.
We've always got your back, no matter what. Like, there's nothing you can do that will separate you from our love. There's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can do that can separate you from God's love. And that's even more important.
And I think you might come to understand this more. That's why music's so cool, is because when you hit those hard times in life and you hear a set of lyrics, they resonate in your body and you're like, that's what I'm going through. That's how I feel. And maybe as you enter into your teenage years and older, you'll start to grasp on that. Maybe you won't, but that's kind of how I feel. No,
absolutely. And like, I'm glad that you, Brent, introduced me to Pearl Jam and to Isbell and Truckers and everybody else that I know because, I got to listen to KF99.
You were like a blank palette when I first.
KF99.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
Yeah.
You were like a blank palette when we started dating because you didn't know anything about music or pop culture, and so it was a lot of fun.
No, and you took full advantage of that by quoting Seinfeld all the time, and I thought that you were. You are funny, but I really thought that you were.
She thought that
hilarious.
I came up with that stuff, so I want to thank the Seinfeld writers.
Well, yeah, and then we'd be in your bedroom at your grandparents' house watching Seinfeld at 11:00 at night, and they would say something, and I would be like, "You got that from that?" And like that la 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 belly button thing. Like I forever thought that you came up with that.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that.
I was like, well, that's weird that they're doing that.
The funny part is now Xavier does that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why.
Oh yeah, he steals everything.
Yeah.
Like he is your clone.
Yeah, that's why we call this Conversations with Myself.
Yeah.
because
Journey of self-discovery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is uncanny.
So this was Mandy's song that she picked out, Mom's song. But I wanted to just give a short little reason why I like this song so much. Like I said, if I had to pick up my favorite Pearl Jam song, it'd be impossible. But this is definitely my top 5. This song, like your mom said, is a great reminder to let go of the past and live in the present moment. And that sounds so simple, but as you get older, you realize it is the hardest thing to do. The first couple of lines in the song have some great imagery. Just listen to this. Listen to this line. It says, "Do you see the way that tree bends? Does it inspire? Leaning out to catch the sun's rays, a lesson to be applied." That means you can be in a dark, cold place, but there's always the light out there, and you've got to reach for that light. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Kind of.
It'll make more sense as you get older. It will. That's why I'm so excited for you to listen to this. It's about not giving up, and it's about pushing forward. It's a way to take those bad situations and grow and turn towards a positive outlook. The song is, I remember the first time I heard it in 1996 when it came out on No Code, and I thought this is an amazing song, and it is one of my favorites. So I picked, your mom picked present tense, but that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and even that line, I think can be looked at as, God is the light, and we need to
Reach out.
to it and bend to it. I love that line too. Yeah. Are you getting something out of this all-encompassing trip? Like, you have a purpose.
This one. I'm going to try to get through this
You're
one.
not going to get through this.
No.
Yeah.
So I picked Outfit. I still have a hard time. Like, I played this song at Jody's birthday, and it's hard for me to play it to this day. I don't play it that often anymore because it's hard to get through. And at this point, I'd heard Outfit. I'd only heard it for I think I heard it for the first time in 2004, 2005, so it wasn't that old. But the first time I heard it, I thought, this is an awesome song. And it's basically about a father. It's a narrative song. It's like it's a storytelling song. It's about a father giving advice to his son. And Jason Isbell wrote it. He wrote it when he was in his early 20s. There's no way I could have written a song like this in my early 20s. It's from the point of view of a dad giving life advice to his son. He talks about things in the song that are so simple, but they have a much deeper context when you listen to them. So the main chorus of the song is, don't call what you're wearing an outfit. So that means be your own person. Establish your own identity. The cool part is that at 13, you've already done that.
Yes.
And I love you for that. I love you because you are who you are. Never apologize for that. I love this part. It says, don't worry about losing your accent. Be proud of who you are and where you came from. And the funny part is you have
a British accent.
And then later in the song, it says, don't sing with a fake British accent. And this line says, don't tell them you're bigger than Jesus. Have confidence in who you are, but don't let it go to your head. Remember who's first. The father in the song is giving advice to his son so he'll grow up to be better than him. He'll learn from his mistakes. I do that all the time. I say things to you. I'm like, I'm not saying this to get on to you just to be a butthole. I'm saying this for a reason. So you'll be able to figure out life when I'm not here, or you'll be better than the way I approach the situation. I read something about the song where a lot of the lines in this song come directly from Jason's dad. The cool part about this song is that in 2014, we saw Jason Isbell perform on Father's Day in Florence, Alabama, and his dad was at the show, and he performed this song with his dad in the audience, which I thought was the coolest thing ever.
And we got to be there.
And a couple of years ago, Jason played the Ryman, and the Ryman sent out a thing on Twitter that says, do you have any questions for Jason Isbell? And I sent a tweet in, and I said, Jason, now that you're a dad, do you have any updated advice for your daughter, a la Outfit? And he said, no, not really anything new. He said, probably the only thing is don't date. So I thought that was kind of cool because he's got a daughter. I read that he wrote this when he was in his early 20s, and he played it on acoustic guitar for his dad shortly after he finished it. Again, in his early 20s, I don't know how he wrote a song like this, but I'm forever grateful that he wrote this song. Jason went on tour one time, and it was the Shut Up and Play Outfit tour, because everyone requests this song. And the reason why we were going to do this a couple months ago before we saw Jason Isbell is because I wanted to tell you about this song, but he ended up not playing it when we saw it. Yeah, he only brings it out on special occasions. So my song is Outfit. Drive By Truckers originally did it, but it's a Jason Isbell song. So Change is our collective song, is that right? All right, I'll let you go and give your explanation on Change.
You go. Let me just chime in.
Sure.
Yeah, I love this song. I want you to start this, and I'll just chime in.
This is another tough one for me. I first heard this song. It's a song called Change by Blind Melon. I actually attempted to play this song at Hinson Hill a couple years ago, and I broke down like a bumbling idiot again. I've never watched the video of that song because I'm kind of embarrassed by it. I can't get through this song. So I first heard this song when I was 16 or 17. Blind Melon has a song called No Rain. That's what they're popular for. So I was in Columbia House or BMG or something like that, and I got this CD, and I put it on. No Rain's the hit. But then I listened to the other songs, and this song stuck out.
So much better than No Rain. Like, I like No Rain, but...
Shannon Hoon is the lead singer. He passed away back in 95, but he's such a great songwriter. Life, and I've told you this before, life is about change. Some of it you're going to love, and some of it you're going to hate.
Yeah.
But one constant in life is that there is change, and it's about how you react to change and how you respond to change. And so in those times when you feel like change is becoming unbearable, this song is a great reminder that you have to refocus your mind and find a way to move forward. It's so... There's a great line in this song, and it's, when your deepest thoughts are broken, keep on dreaming, because when you stop dreaming, it's time to die. So always have those positive thoughts moving forward. There's a great message about life in that song. Sadly, as I told you, Shannon passed away in 95, and he has a line from this song on his headstone in the cemetery, and the line is, I know we can't all stay here forever, so I want to write my words on the face of today. We're not promised tomorrow, so you got to live your life every single day to its fullest. I love that line. I love this song. I'm so thankful for this song, and I'm glad that we made the rule that we could pick another song, because I wanted a Blind Melon song in here. So that's kind of my reason for that one. Do you have anything to add?
Ditto. I think you covered everything. I change has not always been easy for me. So this song kind of highlighted why it's important and necessary.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it, Xavier to have issues with it, because change happens.
And I think the older you get, the more you're aware of it.
Sure.
So those are the reasons why we picked our songs. Again, I encourage you to look at the CD and go back and ask people on there to give you some more of the reasons why they picked those songs. Mm-hmm. I really think, because I remember being 12. If my parents would have sat me down and did something like this, I would have been like, okay, awesome. I'm ready to go back and watch my shows now. I get that, and I don't have a thought that, this is more right now. This is more for us, but I think in years to come, you will get a lot out of this. At least I hope you will, and you'll go back and you'll fully understand how much you are and continue to be loved, just by listening to the songs on this CD. So I hope this is kind of an early birthday present. You will turn 13 on Thursday.
Hurts my heart.
It's crazy to think.
But I'm learning to adapt to change, so.
Man. I can't wrap my head around the fact that 13 years ago I sat down and I put this together. And I didn't know how this day was going to play out. I'm so thankful that we were able to do it this way, because I didn't know how. I didn't want to just say, hey, Xavier, here, I did this, and then that moment get lost. So I'm glad that we were able to sit down as a family and talk about it and explain why we went the way we went, and then we can go back and revisit it at later times. And you can show this to your kids. You can show this to your wife. It's kind of cool. So thanks for letting me more than Mandy, which is kind of a switch, get really choked up. It's a culmination of something that I put a lot of heart and soul into.
Yeah, you did.
And
it's beautiful. I love it.
Every year I put something on Facebook about it, and I'm like, I can't wait until I can give this to him. And I want to give it to you when you can I don't want to give it to you when you're 5 or 6, you're a kid, but as you're getting older, you're going to your teenage years, you can appreciate a little bit more. So,
and maybe it will help you have a appreciation for music.
So this is what we're calling our season 1 season finale. I think thank you for allowing us to do this. Thank you for being part of it.
Yeah.
I think this will be one of my favorite episodes because we were. It's capping off something that started a long time ago. So thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for indulging your mom and dad to be mushy and kind of showing our sensitive side. It's not a good look for me sometimes.
I think it is.
So we are going to take some time off for the end of the year. What we'll probably do is we'll record some episodes during the month of December, so we'll have them in the can ready to go for early January, and we'll come back strong with some more episodes. So this will be season 1's season finale. We'll come back with season 2 next year. Do you have any topics you want us to cover next year?
I'm just sitting here thinking, like, of all the things, like, after I watch your videos that I want people to know. Like, I got all the Halloween costumes right, except for one.
That was tough.
Yeah.
Which one did you not get right?
What did I forget? It was like a recent one.
Was it Mario?
No, it was.
It was
Ron?
no. Who
Was
was
it-
before Ron?
Was it the Lego one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That was hard.
Yeah, that
You've been weird stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you didn't remember that you were a vampire.
I told you were a vampire one year.
Because we're all vampires. And
We
Nanny
were.
made
Capes and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, if you have any suggestions or you want to sit in, the door is always available for you to be part of the pod. Do you like being a podcaster now?
After I watch it, I'll let you know.
The funny part is like I had to tell this story because I was talking to Matt and Kristen at band rehearsal the other night, talking about Southern accents, and I was like, "Yeah, you should have heard Mandy in 1998. Like that is a Southern accent." I got to find some tapes of the old Burnt Toast show when Mandy was talking because that wasn't just a Southern accent; that was South Fulton Southern. I mean, that was some.
What's that mean, dear?
I mean, that was some back country talking. That's what that means.
Well, I am from Tennessee.
South Fulton.
There's nothing wrong with South Fulton, you Henson boys.
I didn't say anything. All right. So thanks for indulging us. Thanks for being a part of the podcast. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast and downloading it and subscribing it and writing reviews and giving us stars and all that kind of stuff. It's fun. It's like I said before, it's kind of a time capsule for us, but we get to share our lives with you guys. So thanks for tuning in, and happy early birthday to Xavier and to Mandy, who celebrates birthday number
Yeah, I was going to say.
next Saturday.
And happy birthday, Jesus.
Happy birthday, Jesus. So this is episode number 10, the season finale of season 1, Conversations with Myself.
A journey of self-discovery.
We'll see you guys in season 2. Bye.
See
Smash that like button.
Goodbye.
See you on the other side, guys.